G'day YouTubes, been a bit of a busy beaver eater. But today I've got to get a rooftop tent on the cruiser. So it's a 300 series. What we're doing is we're going to take off the roof rails and we're going to bolt a roof platform straight on, so that gives us more clearance or less height, and then bolt the tent to the top of that platform. Just been busy building racks for the new F truck, so I can load that up and start working out of that. And the little roller's done, so she's all back together. That should be getting picked up this week. Got Clancy's little I-30 in there, getting the wrap done, so busy. Anyway, this one's about this cruiser. We'll get the rails done, and then it's a King's Tourer X, I think it's called. It's a side opening rooftop, hard shell rooftop tent. So I'll give you a run through on how that's all done. Alright, bit of bird poo. These factory roof rails have got plastic covers on them, and the covers will unclip. Potentially easier said than done, but that's all right. So behind here there's a bolt, so we need to access that bolt. I need to get a screwdriver or something probably. Yeah, anyway, there's bolts there, so we're going to unbolt those, take those rails off, bolt the new rails to it with the platform on it. I'll get some cars moved out and we'll get into it. Okay, so this is the rear of the car. To remove this cover here, it's not real easy, you've got to be a bit careful, but there's little clips inside here. They pop up like so, and the same on the other side. Might be able to push it around like so. Okay, and then you've got the bolts exposed, so you've got those two bolts there. We need to bolt down there. This one here, there's a little joint at the back here, and that comes off. So obviously if you've got two hands, put your hand over the front of it so you don't lose it on the ground like I just did. And the front one is the same as the back one. All right, so you got a little clip here, a little clip here, and then that'll just pop off. Once again, two bolts there. All right, so next thing is we're going to remove those 5 bolts. Okay, those 2 at the front, the one in the middle, and the 2 at the back, and pull this old rail off, and then get the new rail in place and bolt it up. So strip down the packaging. We've got some brackets on this side. All right, our 2 rails, which are independently wrapped, which is good, and our hardware, all stainless steel. So it's all pretty decent quality stuff by the look of it so far. All right, so I'm going to pull those old rails off, and we'll get back to putting it together. Okay, these are 12 millimeters. Hold up, do not do this, do not use a rattle gun. I used the rattle gun on one side, and I broke all the clips that hold the retainer plates inside, and I had to pull the roof lining down to get to the retainer plates. It was a real nightmare, so do not make the same mistake. Okay, so I've got one side on. You can see I've got my scope, I've got magnetic pickups, I've got all sorts of stuff, and I've actually had to pull the interior trim apart because I'm a dickhead and I used the rattle gun to undo the bolts, and consequently the bracket fell into the roof lining. So I've since learnt you need to take these bolts out fairly evenly, all right, and by hand. So there's those 2 there, there's those 2 there. This one here doesn't matter, that's just another bracket. So once we get those other bolts out, I can take this whole roof rail off. And then behind here, there's another 2 bolts that are actually a 10 millimeter to this bracket here that needs to come out. So yeah, I've got the back ones out. The front ones are just about there. But you can see they move quite a lot. So take it easy, be careful. And when you can get it to finger tight, then you should be good to go and pull it out. I'll show you what happens once we pull this off. All right, see those two little yellow things? That is a guide for the bracket. So they're attached to the bracket. So if you don't see those two yellow things, you're going to have problems. All right, so we're going to bolt straight onto the top of that, and I'll show you how to set that up. Alrighty, so we've got our bracket, our washer. So we've got a flat washer and a spring washer, and then a little rubber seal. It goes on like so. And then this spins in and pops in through that hole. Get it in finger tight, and you can get your other bolt in, which is easy with two hands, because you've got to get your seal in there as well. Oh. Right, I'm going to have to get the magnetic pickup tool out to get my bloody washer. Actually, being stainless, it's not going to get it. So, righto. So that's that bracket on. It's obviously pretty self-explanatory once you get those in. Tighten it all down. And then this one here, same deal. Take these two 10 mils out. This whole thing comes off. The other side was actually pretty loose, so I'll see if I can just get it with a socket on it. Okay, so I suppose I should talk about hardware. The hardware required for the brackets, the L brackets that bolt to the car itself, they are the 12 longer Allen key bolts. The shorter Allen key bolts and nuts are for bolting the tray to the bracket, and the short, fat little bolts are for bolting the rails to the brackets. All right, so you need to have a flat washer, and then it goes through the hole. There's two mounting points, so you can mount it in the top hole or in the bottom hole. All right, so I've got it in the top hole, because yeah, as it sits on this car, it's like right there anyway, so you couldn't mount it on the bottom hole. All right, then we've got to put a spring washer on there, which is in my other little hand. Okay, spring washer, and then a nut. They're different size hardware, so you can't mix them up. Alright, and then we'll tighten all them up. So the Allen keys for everything is a 6mm, so I'm just using this on the gun. So I'll tighten all these up, and then we can put the platform on. Righto, so we've got the platform up. Just started putting some bolts in to put it in place. So I just had an old piece of angle laying around. So I laid that in through the framework so that it wouldn't fall on the roof. So now that's on, I can pull this back out. And then it's just a matter of measuring all the sides and making sure that it's even, both sides, and tying it all down. So this is the 16 short Allen key bolts and the nut, okay? So it's a locking type nut, so you don't need a washer on the bottom, okay? On the top you have a spring washer, then a flat washer with the bolt going through them and up to here, and then we just put our locking nut on like so, and then tighten it all down. So obviously, as I said, got to measure it, make sure it's even space either side, and the roof does taper, so it's not going to be the same front and back. It's going to be different, but we have to get the same side to side, so it's not sitting skew-if. Okay, so I'm going to measure all that up now. So it's just a matter of measuring from a set point, like the edge here, back to the bracket, making sure the other side's the same, and then squishing, like tighten it down. All right, same at the back. Okay, and that's pretty much it for that. And then we've got to put the tent on. Alrighty. So we've got the tent and everything mounted up here. Got the Cobra 4x4 roof rack. It was pretty easy to install, as you'll see through the video. Got our King's 10 on there. It's pretty quiet on the road, which is good. Quality wise, it's all there. Shape of the rail is perfect, and the clearance to the antenna is also good. I wanted this to install the tent because we don't have much clearance. So if I had the factory roof rail, which that's what this patch is from, because the wrap didn't go under the roof rail. So if I had the factory roof rail, that was the same height, and then roof racks on top, and then the tent, I wasn't going to fit in through our roller door. So with this system, I've got 40mm clearance to the roller door, which is enough to get up at the angle to get in there. Hey, you fucking serious? Sorry. So that gives us plenty of clearance. You know, there's others on the market, bigger names, but the Oz Best Deals Cobra 4x4s really come through. It's you know, structure wise, it's built strong. You know, like it's not moving anywhere. The hardware is good. It's all stainless, so it's not going to rust. Powder coating's good. And so far we're pretty happy with it. So it's been on the car now for about 2 weeks, and it's solid. It hasn't moved anywhere. It's, you know, a lot of things will have to be retightened, but this has been pretty good so far. I do definitely recommend going over and just checking tension of everything. But yeah, so we will install a box up the front here, which will have a solar panel on it and everything. So this is well and truly capable of taking that load. And there's also holes across the top of this platform, which are a bit hard to see at the moment. So there's a hole just here I've got my finger in. Might be easier down here. And we'll use them to either mount a light bar or something like that. As I said through the video, the only qualm is obviously, which is a bit of a trade-off, I wanted this to be close to the roof, so I had maximum clearance for our door, but it made it really difficult to try and get into up here for trying to do the bolts for the roof tent. But obviously that's not a fault of the rack itself, it's just the nature of the beast. So in saying that, it's not impossible. I got it done, and you know, she's all up there. All right, I'll show you how to set this tent up shortly.
Hi.
So what do you reckon about your rack? The roof rack.
She's pretty special. She doesn't yet. Don't do that. And look, proof I wash my car.
Yeah, for video. Alrighty, well, yeah, go over to Oz Best Deals and grab that rack. Mate, for the Land Cruiser, everything else was, you know, well and truly over $1,000. You know, the rack itself was $900 and something plus the fitting kit and so on and so forth for the one of the big brands. And yeah, I'm not paying that. So, but regardless, it's all good. And yeah, Oz Best Deals, you can get them on their website, Oz Best Deals, or on eBay. I bought that one through eBay, and I think it worked out about $600 odd at the time. So it's not bad. It's half the price of the others, at least. So give it a go.